Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell. And this week on the first run, well, we see if Disney can get one of the greatest franchises of all time and right that ship with The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Get it up off the mat, baby. Let's go.
A great question as to why they thought this would be a good idea. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe my lack of excitement for going into this as once a massive Star Wars fan is unwarranted, and maybe it will make me feel better, but we'll see. And then also, speaking of getting potential franchises off the mat, we're going to check out the Punisher One Last Kill special that was available on Disney Plus for your listening pleasure. And then, of course, Chris is going to take us home with a bit of physical media. He likes to hurt my bank account by sending me things saying, hey, look at this sale. And I say, no, I'm not going to buy anything. And then, of course, I buy a bunch of stuff. So screw you, Chris. I hate you. So with that, why don't you give me a little bit of The Mandalorian and Grogu?
That's like the theme. Does that kind of sound like it? Yeah? Okay.
Very good.
This is worth a lot more than the bounty on that imp.
Well, let's call it an advance on the next mission.
What next mission?
Commander Coin. Our missing ace of staves. No one knows what he looks like, and most believe him to be dead.
Not a lot to go on. What's the play?
I want you to go to Nal Hutta and meet with the Hutts. They've agreed to lead us to him.
What's in it for them?
Their nephew is being held against his will by another crime syndicate on the Outer Rim. And they need a professional to get him out quickly and quietly.
Where is he?
They'll only tell you in person.
You got a name?
His name is Rodda the Hutt, the only surviving heir of crime lord Jabba the Hutt. You ever cross his path?
I tried not to.
So, do we have a deal?
I only hunt down Imperial war criminals. I don't work for gangsters anymore, especially the Hutts.
That's right, you don't. You work for us. And right now, this is what we need you to do.
So, Matt, in the Mandalorian show, if I remember correctly, the first season, Pascal was in the costume. He was in the helmet, he was in the costume, all that. But I don't know if it was the second or third season, he wasn't. He just did voice work.
Okay.
And then, like, if at any point he became unhelmeted, is that a word?
Yeah.
It was obviously him. So I'm wondering if that was the case with this season. Did he just show up for the 10 minutes or so when he didn't have a helmet? And because I would feel kind of cheated. I don't think so. I think this was him.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters either way. But I don't know if I'm being like a stuck-up jerk, but I think it cheapens, air quotes, which is like a crazy thing to say as we're about to talk about this movie, performance. If it's not Pascal in the garb, I guess I don't know. You know what I could have done is I probably could have researched that before we started.
Yeah. Well, I know it's common practice, right, in movie making where if you have two stars sharing the same screen and you can't see their face, usually there's a stand-in. Like, so if like it's Brad Pitt talking to George Clooney, but you see George Clooney's back, that's not really George Clooney, right? And a lot of times they do this to save money. So this wouldn't surprise me at all if Pedro Pascal was barely in this film.
Yeah, it's like that legendary Heat scene, right, with Pacino and De Niro. They're not actually at that diner together.
Right. Yeah, right. I mean, you never see him in the shot at the same time, right? So it just flashes back and forth.
I think you get a Pacino back shot or something like
that.
Yeah. One of those, but that's it. Yeah. But yeah, crazy. All right. You know what? That's hardly a thing here. There's a bunch of little weird things I want to talk about with this. And the good thing is I don't have to really describe it because the clip I chose basically gives you the plot of the film. So there you go.
Very convenient for you, Chris.
So do you have a question for me then, or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just go straight to the question. So this thing is obviously, I don't think it's any secret that this thing was essentially what would have been the Mandalorian season 4 that was scrapped, and they basically just trimmed it down, did their best to stitch it into a 2-hour movie, and gave it movie level production values. So
did they?
Nominally. So I guess, Chris, does this thing even really scratch any kind of itch as a final capper to what was one of the most exciting Star Wars series when it first came out?
Yeah, those first 2 seasons I think are rock solid. Then after that, it's kind of, I think it's because, Gina Carano got canceled. Because of her clearly correct, albeit hot takes, he says sarcastically.
Where's the woke alarm when you need it?
So, yeah, I don't No, I think it suffers from the same issues that we've had with this franchise, and dare I say the MCU franchise under Disney's steering. Listen, I'll say this: it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's not good. And I was going through Instagram this morning too while I was indisposed, and there's a little promo reel, promotional, clip on it, and it's the opposite of everything that actually happens in this film, right? And it's almost impressive. It's like filled with nonstop action. No,
Right.
meant for the big screen. No, you're clearly addressing the canceled reworked, I guess I should say, fourth season. And maybe we should have watched I Love Boosters, because I do love a good Boots Riley film.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe we can just talk about Obsession again.
Oh, let's. Nikki sent me a playlist this morning.
Oh yeah, I got that too. Listen, she went dark on me for a couple days, but yesterday she sent me the playlist and she said actually I wanted to see her again. Meaning I think she wants me to go see.
You could go see the movie again. Yeah, I did.
That thing's going to make
$100
million off of a $750,000 budget.
Yeah.
And they're predicting it actually to go up in attendance this week due to the positive word of mouth.
Yeah.
So all the flowers to Nikki and Obsession. Congratulations on that boat. And I cannot wait to own that thing in 4K. Remember I talked about too how it looks like her face was kind of melting? That was a makeup. They actually did that. It was makeup to distort her face, and then they used the light. And then I think there's a couple points where she's got like black contacts or like red contacts. Right. Is that where the light hits her eyes every now and then, and it looks really kind of dark and spooky. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna do Obsession round 2. Okay, so then let's just start with the fact, Matt, that I think the biggest problem I have with this thing is that it's dull.
Yeah.
I think I'm confident in saying that Jon Favreau. Why can't I say it now? John, what's his Favreau?
Favreau. Yeah.
Jesus. Swingers was like a very important movie to me when I was a kid.
Know.
And I totally whiffed on Favreau. He's an uninspired filmmaker. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say that. There are workman-like filmmakers like the late, great Rob Reiner, right? But Favreau I think he brings nothing to the table here. Just presented to us with like no eye for style, no eye for flair. It's flat. I've seen more visually exciting commercials from the 1980s, all right? And it's the whole film feels like that. Now, I will give props to the creature designs in this, the aliens and the creatures. I think are very well done. And I think actually borderline too intense for kids. And this is ostensibly a kid's movie.
Right.
There are some moments where I was like, dear God, that's really disturbing. So I praise it for that. But it does feel, I don't know if it's just suffocated or trapped by it, but it clearly feels to me like a canceled fourth TV season that was condensed into a film. That it can't surpass those trappings. It doesn't.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Ultimately, that's the fatal flaw, right? I mean, this thing is, obviously not put together as a coherent film with a beginning, middle, end. It is essentially taking what would have been, whatever it would have been, 6 hours, 8 hours of episodic content that they try and stitch together, trying to keep the big set pieces, right? I think the one thing that may have been exciting to Star Wars fans is, seeing Hutts as not giant slob slugs and wondering how they came to become such terrifying crime lords. So I guess that's something. It gives you a little bit of the background of the Hutts and what they can do. But I think overall, for me especially, the whole Grogu dynamic, and I'm just sick of looking at him back when he was called the child, and he's just not doing it for me. His cuteness, what's that word from what was that line from the old Sarah Silverman program? You vastly overestimate your cuteness. Well, that's basically what happens here, right? So I don't know. I will say this. There's enough here to where I didn't hate it. Like, I don't hate this the way I hate whatever what's the last J.J. Abrams film called? I blocked it out. I hate it so much.
Oh, I don't even remember. That's got to be something, right? It's
It's The Last Jedi. Is that what it is?
Oh, you mean
Rise of Skywalker?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Abrams film. Was this last movie too? I think it was. Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, when she turns and says her last name is Skywalker.
So everything about that was so bad, so bad. And I'm not even to get on my soapbox here, but I really like Rian Johnson's film, but I think it was a terrible idea for them to, set all this up, this nostalgia stuff, and then have a guy come in and completely tear it down and then go be like, okay, now let's make something else. That was just a huge mistake. But anyway,
I wish
digress.
I had this as an audio clip to play right now, because Matt, somehow Palpatine has returned.
Somehow, I know they just kind of gloss over it. How, like, they don't even, never mind. We're not talking about that film, but I'm saying I don't hate this film the way I hate some of those other Star Wars films.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say it's really low on the totem pole. Like, even I am on record as saying Solo is not that bad as people make it out to be.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's way better than this. And it's got its fun moments and stuff like that. I mean, this is just, it smacks of Disney cash grab at its absolute worst. But it's competent enough to where you'll watch it, you will say that wasn't great, you won't get angry about it, and then you'll walk out and wonder, why isn't there a better movie for the unofficial start of summer?
Yeah, it's particularly too after coming off Andor season 2.
Oh man,
which
it's
is
so
one of the
good.
Best things this franchise has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I was all excited too. I picked up the first season in 4K in the Steelbook because Amazon had it on sale for like a day or two for $30-something, and I
Right.
had a 20% off or something like coupon on top of that.
Yeah.
So I jumped on that.
Yeah.
I hope, still fingers crossed, there's going to be a season 2 on physical media at some point.
I hope
But,
so.
Yeah. Now I understand, Matt. You're more well versed or well traversed in this universe than I am. Like, I haven't really taken in the ancillary expanded universe stuff. Like, I haven't really seen any of the animated stuff. I played Knights of the Old Republic when it was on N64 back in the day, but that's it.
Sure.
But I know, like, there's that other bounty hunter that he encounters here. That's like a big character, like in the expanded universe, right?
Yeah. I will admit that. So when I was growing up, I loved the original trilogy. I loved it. And I read a lot of the Dark Horse comics and I read a few of the novels because that's all there was. That's the only way you could interact with the stuff, right? When The Phantom Menace came out and that subsequent prequel trilogy, it really soured my fandom a lot. Like, I really, really kind of lost a lot of luster for the franchise for me. And to the point where when all that stuff came out, like the Clone Wars cartoon and the Bad Batch and all that stuff, I was much older and I didn't have a lot of interest in engaging with it, right? So all of that stuff was very much geared towards kids, and I know people who grew up with it really love it, but that wasn't me. So while I'm familiar-ish with the character, and I know he's a big deal to that kind of group of the fandom, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal to me.
Okay. And all right, so according to the Wikipedia, there was indeed an on-set stand-in.
Yeah.
For Pascal throughout the film.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Which is just
bullshit.
Disappointing. I do appreciate there's some hubbub about him being unmasked again. Listen, if you're gonna have a big star in your movie, and he wears a mask, he's gonna get unmasked at some point, right? That's just the way it's gonna happen.
Right.
I think it works in the film. I think they make it work, and Pascal says he thinks it's justified. I agree. But I don't think it's justifiable. Again, it's just using doubles for him throughout the entire movie until that scene when he's in a mask. It's disappointing to see.
Yeah.
And a couple other things, too. The rescue rebel squad at the end, those like all just retirees. It was like a geriatric... I think everybody there was in their 60s, maybe?
Right, yeah.
Sigourney's coming in at what at this point? No, she looks great.
She does. She looks fantastic. Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm sure there was likely some touch-up digitally or something like that, but my girl's 76.
Right.
But seeing her lead a bomber rescue squadron, really? Really?
So ageist, Chris. Where's the woke alarm? Give me the woke alarm.
I don't know. There we go. Well, there we go. But that's the woke alarms. I'm going to say something. This is anti. I'm being anti-woke here. Yeah, woke is truly dead.
No. Go woke, go broke, man. Come on. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
I'm good authority.
Anything else I got to say? It just, again, it looks like crap. Overly lit, dull composition. You know, I think the relationship between the Mando and Grogu is enough to kind of drag us over the finish line.
Sure.
But I think I'm inclined to agree with you that I may be kind of over Baby Yoda at this point, you know, with the cuteness stuff. Either that or it's just not effectively employed here, which I think I would fall at the feet of Favreau. So Yeah, I don't think too. I did when I was watching is I was trying to figure out the episode ends.
Right.
And we would transition like, all right, that's the end of episode 1.
Yeah.
That's like episode 2 and 3, but this is where it ends.
Yeah.
You know, that I was marking that off as we went. So I guess, Matt, is it fair to say this has not reignited your love for the fandom for Star Wars?
No, it hasn't. I mean, the closest thing that did was Andor, in this fact that, you know, you could really see what they could do with this, but this is just another piece, and it's really starting to upset me where, you know, these great franchises that, you know, that I love so dearly, they all just end up getting destroyed one after the other, whether that's Star Wars, the MCU has gotten way too bloated. Game of Thrones was terrible, like the last 3 seasons of it. Star Trek, what they've done to it is an abomination, and all the stuff that I completely disagree with. You know, trying to make it more edgy and real, I hate it so much, except for Lower Decks. Everybody go check out Lower Decks if you haven't seen it. It is hilarious, and I love it. Otherwise, yeah, this is just another symptom of that. I don't know if that means that big franchises like this can't survive. Maybe that's the lesson we should be learning. Like, you could have 3 films, or maybe you have TV series with, you know, that are years and years apart, but I don't know what it is. It makes me nervous to not being able to sustain these franchises like this anymore.
Yeah, I go back and forth on that because I think sometimes it can work. I think the Abrams Star Trek reboot, for the most part, is pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because the casting for it is exceptionally well done, except I think like as Cumberbatch as Khan.
Yeah.
And there's a weird thing where the Kirk, even though I like Pine his version of Kirk, the dynamic between Montalban and Shatner is so special and unique.
Sure.
That it just can't be replicated. So I don't know if it's a thing where it's better to do expanded or different stories within the same universe and resist the temptation, like unfortunately doing this film, where we drop in little famous cameos of particular characters in the universe, like R2's in this, right, as a shot.
Right.
So things like that you got to avoid. The fan servicey stuff you got to cut out. But I don't know. I always struggle back and forth on this. We had a critique when this show first started, where we were bitching about reboots and stuff, and then we go on to say as what's coming up next week that we were excited for. I don't remember what it was, some movie reboot, and someone called us out on an email, which was fair, but I think that's what it is that if it's the original version doesn't go away, all right, it's still there. I can still enjoy it. So if you do a little interesting twist on it or do something different, that's fine. But when it feels kind of like Matt said, cash grabby earlier, then I'm going to have a problem with it because there's no art in it. There's no life. It exists just to satisfy some capitalistic board, stockholder greed thing. Then that's where I'm going to struggle with it. Which brings me to my next thing, Matt, for you. There is a guest appearance in this film that I was kind of surprised by because this uber famous director who had trashed a couple years ago the MCU, calling it basically that's not cinema, that it's a theme park ride, but there's no real artistic merit. It's all market, researched, audience tested, vetted, and remodified, which is what this is as well. But Martin Scorsese shows up in this movie.
Right.
And I'm like, part of me wants to go, you hypocritical son of a bitch. What, did you need some quick cash?
Yeah.
Or do you just love Star Wars? You want to be in it? Part of me is like, well, Marty can do what Marty can do. If Marty wants to come over here, slap me, and then say, like, my deceased mom was one of the worst people ever existed and was a big fan of Hitler or something, right? I'd be like, all right, Marty, you've done everything you can do. I'm going to let you go. That's fine. So I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. But I just thought it was funny because it starts off, I'm like, wait, is that Scorsese? Sure enough, it is.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I thought that was weird.
Yeah, it is weird at the same time, but I'll give him a little bit of grace, right? Because the foundation of this entire series is a cultural touchstone and was kind of in that, late 70s filmmaker boom with Lucas, with the first one. So I guess if he's kind of looking back, I mean, who even knows if Martin Scorsese has watched any films that in the Star Wars movies since the first 3, So like, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, right? So maybe he thinks of it in those terms. So I guess that makes a little bit more sense to me. But like you said, I mean, he's Martin Scorsese, right? I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll cut him some slack on that one. I'll give him a pass.
I know Matt and I were texting back and forth ahead of the show, and he's like, "This is probably Scorsese's best performance since Taxi."
You weren't supposed to tell people that, yeah.
All right, Matt, what are you giving this thing?
I'm gonna give it a C-. I don't think it's bad enough to where I'm gonna get mad at it. It's just another in a long string of disappointments with people destroying franchises I love. Lord of the Rings, got another one. That Hobbit series, then that Amazon series, Witcher was a disaster. I can't even take it anymore. Nobody knows what they're doing anymore to do with these franchises. Here's hoping that Henry Cavill doesn't ruin another franchise I love in Warhammer 40K and he actually gets it right, but I'm not hopeful.
Or, well, not that it's a great franchise. Just the first film is a classic, but also, the Highlander reboot is in that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you excited for Colbert's treatment on Lord of the Rings?
You know what? I know Colbert loves Lord of the Rings, right? The issue with Lord of the Rings is that the Tolkien estate won't let them access, for a lot of the expanded stuff and the legends that are actually out there. So then people create new stories and then everybody gets all in a tizzy because they're so far off from what they're allowed to work with. And I think as long as you could get the feel of it right, I think it'll be okay. And I'm hoping that Colbert is enough of loves the source enough that he'll be able to do that. I mean, the man kind of speaks Elvish, which is weird, but more power to him.
Did you see last night he did a public access show?
Oh, did he?
No,
I didn't.
Yeah,
I did not see that. No, that's funny.
I haven't seen the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. Is it that bad?
It's pretty terrible. Both seasons are pretty terrible. Now, I will say this: there are parts of it that are awesome. Like when
is it prequel stuff? Or
yes. It's before. It's before
Hobbit.
It's before Sauron makes the rings. So it's like thousands of years in the past. And when the scene where Galadriel, played by the woman from Saint Maud, I'm blanking on her name, realizes that the guy is Sauron. That whole sequence is awesome, but most of what's around it is not good.
Did you watch the animated one?
No, I haven't.
Whatever.
No, I forgot that existed. I just saw that it was on Just Watch, so I'll have to see if I can find it somewhere so I can watch it.
All right, I think I have enough questions. I have enough questions for you about Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Fair enough.
I just want to mention one quick thing too before we move on.
Well,
I watched this here at the AMC Veterans in Tampa. It's Screen X. They installed the Screen X. It opened, I think, about a week ago, if not this week. I don't know. I'm mostly a Dolby guy, but I wanted to see that. If you're not familiar, Screen X is the expanded screens they wrap around the sidewalls.
Oh.
So you have the screen in front of you, and the screen goes on the side, on the sides as well. And it's still, I think, digital laser projection. It's not great.
Okay.
It's mostly a gimmick, I think. And the problem is it's not consistent. So it's kind of like when film like Nolan does IMAX, where he expands the screen for certain shots, certain scenes. It's the same with this. There's certain scenes now. It was almost all the action sequences were like that. They were expanded up the walls on each side. And the problem is that the digital or the clarity isn't as good on the side walls, and also too, when the camera would pan, it would, as it came down the sidewalls and into the main screen again, it would distort a little bit. Not as bad as like when you look at an image in like somebody in a pool where everybody's kind of slightly tilted. It's not that bad, but it's slightly off that it kind of takes you out of it. But it's kind of fun to watch like some scenes, like in the beginning when they have when Mando, takes out that first guy that's that he's hunting down. Yeah, there's all the people at the table. You see the other people at the table as well as the established shot, the centered shot that you see in the front. Yeah. So there's a lot of things like that. It also too oddly, it has black frames. So instead of the screen wrapping all the way through, there's like black bars that still exist on the sides of the main screen that come all the way down. Like, why wouldn't you just paint those white or cover those in the same screen material? I thought that was weird. So I don't know. It was cool for a couple scenes, like the water pit snake fight, and then the climax. It was pretty nice with that. But I don't think I'm going to do it again.
I mean, give it time, and maybe it'll catch on. Maybe somebody will make a film specifically for that. But we'll see.
and it was like $30. Now, granted,
Ooh.
I'm an A-lister, so it doesn't
Yeah.
cost me anything extra. But I think it
Yeah.
was like 30 something and change to see it in that. And I don't right now. I don't think it's worth it.
All right. All right. Well, before we move on, you didn't give it a grade, Chris. So
I
what are you
didn't?
giving it now?
Oh, well, I'll just give it a C.
C. Fair enough.
It's a weak. That's all I do is C's, except for Obsession. Hey, let's talk about Obsession. All right. What do you want to do, Punisher or physical media?
Let's do. I know that wouldn't be the way we would do the show before, but let's do Punisher so we can wrap on physical media. I think that's
All
the
right.
way we go these days.
There you go.
You scared, right? You're not a victim, you chose it. Come home from deployment, out the door the next day, huh? Couldn't wait to get back out there. You chose it over them.
It's bullshit, right?
Frank, that was never equal. Father, daddy, husband, that was a costume. I couldn't wait to get back where it made sense.
Hey, Karen Page shows back up here in the Punisher Daredevil University thing. I didn't realize, Matt, that Jon Bernthal wrote this along with the director.
Yeah, I saw that
Marcus
after it was wrapping up. I was surprised.
So what's Punisher One Last Kill all about?
Well, Frank has essentially taken out all of the people who were involved in killing his family, basically decimated the Nucci crime family, and he's rudderless. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's basically, he's killed Jigsaw, Billy, and he's killed all the Nuccis, and now he's just kind of holed up in an empty apartment, talking to himself, hallucinating people in his life, going out for coffee every so often, and just being a weirdo, right? Then, on the way back to his apartment, Ma Nucci, the matriarch of the Nucci family, played by Judith Light, shows up, says, hey, you know what? I have told every killer in the area that this is where you are, and I put a huge bounty on your head, and they're all coming to get you. And that's basically the whole plot.
Yeah, runs in, was it just under an hour?
Yeah.
And it's part of the Marvel special presentation series, the two previous entries being Werewolf by Night, which was actually directed by famed film composer Michael Giacchino, and then the really just lackluster Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special by James Gunn. So this is the third entry. We waited 4 more years for another one. And it's nice to catch up, I guess, with the Punisher, though I know he shows up in the new Spider-Man movie. So I guess this is our transition. Matt, I still think Bernthal is perfectly cast in this role. I think the intensity that he has, you saw it in Walking Dead, which is what his big debut, right? His big break there. And then he's fantastic in Sicario. But I still think this is just a bit of perfect casting. I enjoy it too. I think we are at this point definitely rocking some very intense black hair dye at this point, reminiscent of Dolph Lundgren's Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate the earnest portrayal of a veteran dealing with PTSD as well. Maybe not just from I think at this point, are we Desert Storm, Iraq War? Is that this version?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. That's right, because that'd be too old for this, which is nice. And then, of course, still dealing with the fallout and the trauma of his family, and then feeling aimless, trying to figure out what to do. And that's where I rejected the film in its entire capacity. Given my limited understanding of the character, I read, I think, the first 2 years of the full Punisher comic, the one that first came out.
Yeah.
I read the limited series, and then I read like the first year or two of that. I don't know. I just don't buy that he would have all of this crime and violence around him, and he would just walk through the neighborhood and not help anybody.
Right.
I guess we're trying to say that he was singularly focused on protecting his family. Not protecting his family, avenging his family, and that he would be aimless and not know what to do after that. I don't think so, and that's where I struggle with it. I liked how brutal it was. Now it's a light R, but it is an R-rated violent film. Like you don't see there are flashes of blood and and there's violence, but there's also weird kind of cuts and things like every time someone gets thrown off a building, which I appreciate. And there are a lot. If you're a throw a guy off a building guy, you're going to love this. Like, I think like 70 people get tossed off of high buildings. But I don't know. It just seems oddly still slightly sanitized to me, which I don't quite get. Well, I mean, I get. But I think kind of undercuts how nasty it is. Though I think maybe they've saved all of that because they really wanted to do, I think, a couple nasty shots in that coffee shop fight near the end of the film. I think that's really where you get your ultra violence there. So they had to maybe trim it back in other places because they didn't want to go too far. I don't know. There's some rough CGI as well that supposedly looks like it was actually like that scene where he falls off the building on top of the vent system, AC unit, whatever it is. Right? And supposedly that's actually real. Like, not that he fell that far, but the impact shot and stuff is an actor falling into that. But it looks really bad. It looks poorly CGI.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's short. It feels short.
Yeah.
But I think it's entertaining enough. But it's kind of, even with all their attempted, I think, depth at the still inner tortured soul about who he is and why, and dealing with the PTSD of the war and the loss of his family, it still feels cheap in a weird way. I don't quite understand why. I don't know. What did you think?
So I watched the Punisher series because for whatever reason, I didn't engage with it when it first came out. So I just watched the whole thing in probably like 6 months ago.
Oh, I haven't watched it since it came out.
Right. And I think one of the things that I noticed about that show, and that kind of extends to this, is that this Punisher is not the one that's in the comic books. This one is not interested in punishing bad guys, right? It's not interested in punishing criminals wherever they may be found.
He's just singularly focused.
Right. His only focus is getting revenge for the people that hurt his family, right? And as an extension of that makes sense, what we got here, right? I mean, he doesn't care about any of that other stuff. Now he's done everything he set out to do. You know, he's not a crime fighter like Daredevil or anything like that, where he, will see things and he just can't let things go, right? I think at the end of that, they try and get you to that version of Punisher, right?
That's fair. That's our character's arc in this, is where it becomes a more generalized, though albeit super violent and murderous hero. He becomes the anti-hero kind of Punisher. You're entirely right. And that's and that makes me dumb because, like I said, I have not watched that show since it came out, which is only 10 years on at this point.
Probably close to a decade, yeah.
So so that's on me then, because that is the story they're telling, is that he's expanding to become that hero that I would have hoped he would have been from the beginning. So that's fair. That doesn't only mutes my criticism; it makes it inert and pointless.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, I mean, if you haven't engaged with a thing, and if I had watched it when it came out, I wouldn't have rewatched it again. I liked it well enough, but it wasn't great or anything like that. I mean, it's not like something I'm like, I got to go back and watch The Punisher. It's no. So I think overall, it had a very kind of Dread or the Raid sensibility, right? Where it's just one action scene after another. Like once it kicks off, it just doesn't stop, right? And that's the whole point of this whole thing. And to an extent, I liked watching him be a badass, but it got kind of old, as Chris said. I mean, it was, decent action, but it kind of became repetitive after a while until he got to the coffee shop. And when he's killing that last shirtless guy with that receipt holder thing, that was like, okay, whoa, dude, that's gross.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you were really messing this guy up. And then, of course, obviously in the beginning, there's a scene that happens, and I'm like, ooh, Criterion is not going to like that. Dude, he's not going to like that.
Oh, yeah.
Break one of the cardinal rules.
Well, I had the same thing with Obsession. Obsession had a death of an animal in the beginning, too, but it's a cat, so I'm not as concerned.
It's cold, man. Well, and it happens off screen, and it's apparently implied that it's the cat's own stupidity that did it, so I guess that's at least helps it a little bit, right?
I guess.
Yeah. But
you're right. We got a little John Wick action in the beginning of this film. You're right.
We did, yeah. So I was
I'd forgotten about that. I must have blocked it out.
You must have. Traumatic experience for you.
Blacked out of it.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, it's basically, 45 minutes plus of action scenes. If that's what you're into, you'll enjoy this. But there's not really much in the way of story. It's really just to kind of get us from point A to point B. You have the Punisher that they had in the original series on Netflix, and now they're moving you towards the Punisher that you're going to see like in the new Spider-Man film and wherever else he may show up. So I guess that's what you get. I haven't watched any of the new Daredevils either, so I don't know if he shows up in any of that.
I don't know. I think he does. I watched like the first season of Born Again.
Yeah.
The first episode of Born Again, and then I got distracted and watched something else that I can't even remember now. Oh, I got into Andor season 2. And
gotcha.
I watched first episode of that, and I'm like, oh dear God. And you know what it was? I finished Stranger Things. I hadn't watched the last season of Stranger Things.
Gotcha.
So I'm traveling, so maybe I'll load up Born Again onto the old iPad for my flights or something. I do want to watch it. I like Cox's Daredevil, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed him in She-Hulk. So if this is that kind of more version of it, I don't know. I'll check it out, but I haven't seen it yet either.
All right. So, I mean, I think that's all there really is to it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of depth to this film, but I guess if it's fun enough, but not great.
What are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it a C. I think it's a C film.
I gave it a C plus.
Oh,
Because
that's
I do like Bernthal in the role, and that coffee shop stuff at the end was like, that's just good stuff right there.
Yeah. And I will say this before we move on to physical media, or maybe in physical media, maybe I should mention it in physical media. But I'm seeing the Andor season 1, season 2 combination sets are being sold online from places overseas. So hopefully we should be getting it very soon.
Oh, good. That would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good transition, Matt. What we should say, I don't think I said in the beginning, if you've seen Mandalorian and you want to share your thoughts, feedback at thefirstrun.com, which is currently in theaters, and Punisher, which is available right now on Disney Plus. And they have that Disney Plus Hulu. That's what I got. I got the Hulu thing through my cable provider.
Yeah.
So I got Hulu and Disney Plus basically for free for I don't know for how long. So we'll see. But yeah, it's on Disney Plus. So feedback at thefirstrun.com. Matt, then let's talk about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday. And folks, we are already in June on this. This is going to be for June 2nd.
Shut down the third world. They lose, you win. Shut down America. You lose, they win. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
So what are you going to do?
Disappear.
He's entered the world code. No target code. Sir, that'll shut down the entire planet.
You push that button. Everything we've accomplished for the past 500 years will be finished. Our technology, our way of life, our entire history. We'll have to start all over again. For God's sake, don't do it, Snake! The name's Pliskin.
Oh, yeah. Escape from LA is being released in 4K in a SteelBook. Remember last week, Matt? I told you there's a lot of stuff coming out in SteelBooks nowadays. A lot of catalog. So that's where am I? Where's my board? Here's my board.
Number 5?
Your number 5 is just a cornucopia of SteelBooks. The Flintstones, 10 Cloverfield Lane, Escape from LA, Bubba Hotep, and then One Battle After Another, all getting SteelBook releases on June 2nd. That was, of course, Escape from LA. One of my favorite things was at an interview, some kid, it was a con or something like that. Some guy asked John Carpenter, so Escape from New York is such a great film. What happened with Escape from LA? And Carpenter's reaction is, fuck you.
You know what? That's the right response to that kid.
That's right. So there you go. Number 4. Mila Jovovich is Brian Mills in Taken as the Protector. Former war hero Nikki's peaceful life is shattered when her daughter is kidnapped. Thrust into the criminal underworld while hunted by cops in the military, she must fight to rescue her kid. I made that as a joke when I heard about this movie, but absolutely that's exactly what this is. Like a really cheap, bad version of Taken. But it's a genre that I absolutely love, so maybe at some point I will actually end up watching it. So there you go.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Huh?
Pixar's latest Hoppers is being released in 4K on Blu-ray, includes 6 deleted scenes, a bunch of making of featurettes, Dolby Vision HDR presentation, which is unusual for Disney to put out in a Dolby Vision release. Matt, did you see Hoppers? I hear it's supposedly one of the best things Pixar's done since WALL-E.
No, I haven't. Actually, I have not really been keeping up with the animated features that have been coming out. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the Wild Robots. I heard Transformers 1 was really good, and I didn't see that either, so.
Yeah, someday.
Oh, you two lovebirds take it easy, okay?
And 2 and 1 are going to be a couple Criterion films. First off, we're going to go with 5 Easy Pieces. New 4K restoration of that, Dolby Vision, HDR presentation, audio commentary by the director, Bob Ralston, documentary about the making of the film. 2 of them, in fact. I've never seen 5 Easy Pieces. I hear it's fantastic, but I have not had an opportunity to check it out. And then, Matt, have you ever seen 5 Easy Pieces?
I have not, no.
There you go. And then number 1.
There can be only one.
Criterion is also putting out Charade, the Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant theft spy thriller classic thing. I haven't seen Charade in probably 20, 25 years. I do remember enjoying it. Only special feature appears to be an audio commentary from 1999. It does include, though, it is a 4K restoration, so I'll have to check out Charade again when I get a chance, Matt. So what did you buy at the Groove one-day sale?
So I had, how much would that have been? I had 6 things in my cart, and I said, that's too much. So I put 2 back. So I put back Blade, and I put back Companion. I did end up getting, I realized I don't have Jaws on Blu-ray or 4K, so I got Jaws. Same thing with Goodfellas. I only have it on DVD, so I got Goodfellas as well. Then, yeah, it was all a bunch of stuff I still have on DVD. I didn't even believe I didn't have it on Blu-ray. So 7 and The Departed as well.
Did you pick up the Nightmare on Elm Street set?
No, because I already have Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, on 4K, and that's really the only one I really like.
That's what I had, the Nightmare on Elm Street Steelbook, which looked like a VHS cover, which was really nice. I liked it. But I had picked up the Nightmare on Elm Street set on Groove. I think it was on sale for like $45, and with the 15% off coupon, I'm like, well, I'm just going to get that. And I traded it in here at Viper Video. I got some good money for it. So in the end, I'm going to die. What am I going to do owning 2 copies of the movie? I like the Steelbook, but I also generally hate Steelbooks.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I was reading something online where you need to start, we're at the age now where we start doing the Swedish death cleaning, where we need to start going through our stuff and seeing, like, you know, when we're left behind that nobody wants to go through, that do we really need to have it anymore? Start getting rid of it.
I've started to, so this is first run and I'm going through the process of like setting up a trust. What happens with the house? What happens with the cars?
Sure.
And then I already told Matt this, but Matt has freely, it's actually putting in an official list I actually have to include with all this paperwork.
Okay.
That Matt gets first crack at whichever here, any of the physical media. And he was I'm like, you want to come down to Florida for that? He goes, oh, absolutely, I'll do that.
Hell yeah. I'll go and poke through your vinyls and your 4Ks. Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. So and then I asked him, I have a family member too, who's a big Bowie fan. He's also a physical media guy. So I guess whatever, you know, if Matt's not interested in something, you know, you could let Steve come down and go through stuff from there. And then, I don't know, what else? Donate to the library? I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. What's up next week on the big show?
We're watching The Backrooms, which is
I'm never going to die, Matt. That's my plan.
Not if we're in the back rooms. It's a creepypasta come to life. My daughter is very excited to go see this. She wanted to see Obsession, and I was like, no, you can't go see that. No.
Too much?
A little too much, I think.
Is she going to join the show next week and let us know what she thought of it?
I doubt it, but I'll get her full feedback. And, you know, if she goes with some of her friends, I'll poll all of them, and we'll get the youth vote on how this film was.
That works for me. I do want to see I Love Boosters too. I mean, I'm not going to be able to see 2 movies, but I've added it to the list.
Okay.
So like we have it's called the to be watched list on the calendar. They Follow, which we still haven't heard anything from.
Yeah.
Enemies, Mask of the Red Death, It Ends, Death of Robin Hood, Adventures of Cliff Booth. Some of these are on here because, well, Robin Hood now has an official release date.
Yeah.
But some of these because they didn't have release dates. Then Forbidden Fruits, I want to see. They Will Kill You. Normal, though I've not heard good things about that. Mother Mary, that's the Anne Hathaway one there with what's his name, who did Ghost and stuff. Ray Gunn, Power Ballad, which is the next Art Carney, John Carney, the guy who did Once and Sing Street.
Yep.
I Love Boosters, and then Blue Heron. I'm hearing fantastic things about, people saying it's absolutely the film of the year. I think it's going to drop on the Criterion channel at some point. So, but yeah, good times. But I'm looking forward to Back Rooms. We'll have to see how that checks out. The week after that, I'm really excited and nervous for the Masters of the Universe episode too. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, you can check us out at thefirstrun.com. Find archives of all the old shows. There's a little player there, the report card, and more. Head on over to, where are we? Facebook, sort of, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually you will find us. And then head on over to Apple Podcasts. Gives us a review and help other people find the show. We'd appreciate it. In the meantime, we're going to take an extended break. Please know that we love you all very much. Please take care of yourselves, and we will see you all again soon. Thanks for listening.
Look outside. Is the world more peaceful since the revolution? I see nothing but death and chaos. I would like to see the baby